Chris Spencer, yeah, I'm repping the alpha stuff right here with two of the alphas on the show. You're just mad that you couldn't get in because the grades were not high enough. There's some other little youth groups you can apply to. All right, y'all. We're talking about, again, this Trump executive order unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. In just a moment, we're going to be talking to Harry Daniels or Daryl Washington, both, of course, defense attorneys, very prominent, involved in a lot of these cases. We reached out to Ben Crump. He's actually in Africa. He's in Ghana. And so, and I'm telling y'all, don't even, this executive order, it's about black people. It's about all of these cases of black people being shot and killed, brutalized, beaten, harmed by cops. And Donald Trump is saying, yo, I'm good. He's saying, I got the back of all of these cops. I'm gonna do whatever in the world they wanna do. And he is going to just give them massive amounts of immunity. It's as simple as that. That's what's going on right here. And he said it. And again, see, this whole deal, oh, morale is back. I'm glad. That was one of the stupid comments you heard Bill Maher say. Oh, I'm glad to see that morale of cops is back. I'm like, man, y'all serious? Come on. Police hate accountability. They hate it. They hate being held accountable. And now they have somebody who is going to let them do whatever it is they want to go to. All right, folks, we have Harry Daniels ready. All right. All right, let's go live to Harry Daniels. Harry, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Roland. How you doing?
Daryl Washington, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Roland.
All right, now we got, now we see, this is about to be a party. We got 4 alphas on here. What's that little youth group you in, Harry?
It don't matter. Y'all can have like 8 versus 80. You know what it is. Let's talk about it.
Oh, you know, if it's one of us, it's 8 of y'all. It's unfair for y'all. So, but you know, but it's just a lot of black and old gold excellence right here. Let's get right to it. This executive order, Daryl, is absolutely anti-black. And what Donald Trump is saying, if any family hires y'all for one of these cases involving police abuse, don't even call the Department of Justice, because we're not going to be on the side of any of those families. We're going to be on the side of cops.
Hey, Roland, this is something that, man, we are not surprised by at all. You know, you talked about this prior to the election, and this is something that we knew was going to happen. And I will tell you, since this election, Roland, we have seen the change, not only with some of the noise that Trump is talking right now, but with some of these rulings that we're getting from the court. You can clearly see that things have changed and things are going to get bad. Now, you know, we talk about this, Roland, but I just really don't believe people understand how serious this is. I mean, because basically what has happened now, basically police officers have gotten a free pass to use deadly force, and that's scary.
Harry?
Yeah, I agree with Daryl. You know, a lot of these things is happening. You know, you see these ramped up police executions and dealing with deporting people. And not just that, dealing with officers feel like they are immune, not just from prosecution, but immune from the law in any aspects. And this order that Trump passes, that he signed executive order, one of the biggest things that I saw that I'm trying to figure out how he's going to enforce an order locally on local municipalities and local governments in order to pay for liable officers for their expenses. And Roland, we're talking about liable officers. He used the word unjustly prosecuted, or, you know, or whatever the case may be, for misconduct or their official duty. Well, if you go through the justice system and a jury find you liable, then you're not unjustly prosecuted. You're justly prosecuted for your acts. But he's putting the responsibility on these local governments or these municipalities to pay these jury verdicts or settlements. One place that we see this at is in Colorado. but the Colorado legislature did it so people who are victims of police misconduct have some type of redress or recourse on some type of monetary justice, where a city or municipality, county government has to pay the verdict with the exception of punitive damages. But here in this case, I believe it's been weaponized in a way to give law enforcement a free pass, not just from criminal prosecution from the Department of Justice, but also civil prosecution as well.
I mean, he's saying right here, Daryl, that I am directing the Attorney General to create a mechanism for legal resources to go to cops. Go to my iPad. It says it right here, to provide legal resources and indemnification to law enforcement officers who unjustly incur expenses and liabilities for actions taken during the performance of their official duties to enforce the law. This mechanism shall include the use of private sector pro bono assistance for such law enforcement officers. The shakedown that he did of all those major law firms, he's going to go to them. Hey, y'all got to defend these cops.
And Roland, let me tell you, first of all, when you read what Trump is really saying, it makes no sense whatsoever. Because first of all, most police officers are not incurring any expenses. Most of them are being represented by the municipalities. So I really don't know what he's talking about from that end. But one of the things that's going to be really dangerous is now he's calling on a lot of these private firms that are going to come in and assist these police officers. That's the problem that we're going to be faced with right now. But, you know, we look at what Trump is putting into law right now, Roland, it goes a little further. The state of Texas now, what they're saying is police officers are not going to be criminally liable for acts that happen while they're in the course of their duty. That's very dangerous because what that is saying is that we have said all along that when Amber Geiger killed Botham Jean, she was on duty. When Roy Oliver killed 15-year-old Jordan Edwards, he was on duty. But if you read what Trump and what these state governors are now saying is that if somebody is killed while the officers are on duty, there's not going to be any criminal liability. And that's the thing that is very scary.
Yeah, you know, and we live in a perfect world, and rightful use of force was there. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. And the people that's on the other end of these unlawful shooting, killings, and brutality is people of color. So when you hear these type of things and you giving these hall passes to basically, like Daryl said, you know, if you kill somebody on duty, then there's no redress, there's no criminal prosecution to go for. That emboldens an already emboldened officer. You know, I worked in law enforcement for a short period of time. And one thing I don't recall doing to have a psychological test. Thank God that I wasn't one who's had issues, but I saw officers who had major issues. So if you give them the ability to evade some type of criminal prosecution, you've given them a key to all doors of injustice. The bottom line is this, and Daryl hit the nail on the head. This thing has been eroded for years. You know, when I say this eroded, the protections, the federal government, you got to think about it. In the 60s, the Department of Justice, the government was the one who would come in to ensure rights are protected. At this day and time, you got civil rights attorneys who work for the Department of Justice, and I know some of them. I probably know they have no idea what to do here, what to say, and they're being utilized in a manner that's inconsistent with oath they have taken, and it's a very sad day.
No, and Harry, just to echo something that you're saying right now, when you look at some of the other things that Trump is doing, we have looked at consent decrees that the Department of Justice have worked on so very hard to try to get a lot of these police departments in line to make sure that they're doing certain things that not going to put people at harm. And what Trump is now saying is all these consent decrees that are now in existence, basically, they're no longer going to be any good. So, again, this guy is coming along and he's basically empowering police officers, Roland, and it's very scary. I mean, I'll be honest with you, because all these police officers have to do now is be on a dark road one evening and say that this individual was trying to harm me and I had to use deadly force. And there's no there's nothing that you can do about it. And I think people ought to be afraid. We've said this years ago that people should have major concerns, but what's going on right now today, people should be worried. People should be concerned.
Yeah, they absolutely should. And I just don't, I think one of the reasons why we wanted to give this much attention, because we've covered a lot of these stories. We've covered these cases. And a lot of times when local DAs did not do their job, lawyers like yourself will be able to say, hey, we're going to call on the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division to investigate this, to pursue hate crimes indictments. Donald Trump and Pam Bondi is saying, hey, y'all can lose our number. We ain't talking to none of y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, but Roland, the wind may blow, but the tree gonna still stand. Midterm elections are coming, and another election is coming. So I hope the people realize and see what's happening, all the things that's happening across the nation. The federal employees who voted for Trump find themselves in the unemployment line, if there's any employment line remaining. And at the same time, we have to keep in mind that everything Donald Trump said he was going to do, he did it.
Absolutely. And Harry, one of the things I know you and I talk about this all the time, and Roland, we know that things are bad right now, but you have attorneys like myself, Harry Daniels, Ben Crump, attorneys who are fighting these cases. But what I want to say to the listening audience, Roland, and this is something that we have to talk about every single time we discuss these issues, it is going to be very imperative now that when we have the opportunity to sit on juries, Black people, to serve on juries, that we're going to have to do every single thing to make sure that we're not eliminated, because we will need to make sure that these juries are diverse. Because right now, Roland, in some of these little small cities, these cases that you really don't hear much about, these people, Black people, are not given a chance. And we have to really change that narrative. So we know right now Trump is against us. We know that the Department of Justice is against us. So it is very imperative on us to stick together and try to figure out a way to make change to this judicial system, because we are going to need it. Yeah, absolutely going to need it.
Hey, Roland, think about this. A felon represents the Department of Justice. He's over the Department of Justice.
That's scary.
That's what we in right now.
Well,
felon convictions run the Department of Justice.
Well, you have that.
That's the oxymoron I've ever heard of one.
And then you got Attorney General who spends more time on Fox News than she does at the Department of Justice.
Yeah. Let me just exactly.
So,
but Roland, we need to pay attention to this. We posted, I know Harry talks about it all the time. We're going to talk about it in Chicago at the National Bar Convention. Yep. But Roland, people need to pay attention to what's going on. I know there are a lot of other issues that are going on in the communities, but what you are talking about today is so very important, because if they continue to pass these laws, I know they have one similar in Louisiana right now. Texas is about to pass a new law as well. If this continues, Roland, at the pace that is going on right now, as hard as we working, there would be no need for civil rights attorneys when it comes to police brutality, because our hands are going to be tied. We have fought for we have fought for justice for so very long, to only see Donald Trump come in and take all the progress that we've tried to make, and he's putting us back years back.
Indeed. All right, gentlemen, Daryl Washington, Harry Daniels, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night, man.
Folks, when you start looking at, so here we are 100 days. And I don't give a damn about the 100 days, because, hell, the 99th day ain't no different from the 101st day. This stuff harkens back to FDR, talking about what he was going to do in the first 100 days. So the media runs with this constantly in terms of this 100 days, what has the president done? The fact of the matter is, what we are seeing here is a consistent attack on Black people. It's an attack on Black people. It's an attack on human rights. It's an attack on regular, ordinary people. Adam Sir of The Atlantic, when he talked about cruelty is the point, that's exactly what it is. It is about cruelty. It is how they treat people. And what you're seeing, and here's what's crazy, Mustafa. When you think back, look at all of these other countries that have beat back fascism. You just saw the Canadians pick the head of the Liberal Party versus the Conservatives. We've seen this in France. We've seen it in Germany, on and on and on. It's only one country that chose fascism, America. Mustafa?
Yeah, well, that is true. And the question becomes, do you learn from your scars? Do you try and hide your scars? And do you pretend like your scars isn't there? And that's been something that America has never wanted to deal with. And because it has never wanted to deal with the sins of the past and the present, it continues to create these opportunities for those who fit the narrative to take office and to lead. So that's what we find in this particular moment. And then turning over power. My grandmother always says, and folks have heard me say this before, when you know better, do better. I continue to wonder when America is actually going to do better consistently, right? So, you have a President Obama, and then you find the pushback that happens with that. Then you'll take another step forward, and then you'll have somebody comes in that pushes you 3 steps back. America has to finally make a decision about, does it want to be a 21st century America or does it want to be a 19th century America? Because in the policies that have been put forward and the sets of actions around erasure and everything else looks a lot like, the 1860s and 1870s. People often want, talk about, the things that happened during Jim Crowism. Well, yes, because that's what we're seeing play out right before our eyes now. So, as the brother just said just a second ago, we've got the midterms coming up, and then you've got the elections in 2028. But there's a lot of damage and a lot of bad that can happen before those particular moments happen. And that's why we've got to come together as community and protect and uplift each other.
Absolutely. Joe?
Yeah, this is everything's harder now. The civil rights fight is never easy to begin with, but it becomes more difficult. And even I see in juries and potential juries less sensitivity. I see juries potentially sometimes being a little bit more sympathetic or more indifferent when there is a Trump-like boss or a sexual harasser, or those types of things. Jury's trying to be less sensitive when your client didn't lose their job, but they were on leave for a year to a year and a half. So it tries to change a lot of things in terms of how we approach cases, and we do have to read the room in terms of what it is that we're doing. But that being said, the fight is still the fight, and it wasn't taken on because it's easy. And even if it gets harder, it's still worthwhile. I'm reminded of my aunt, Josie Johnson, who is a civil rights leader who did things with Walter Mondale and Hubert Humphrey in the 50s and all of these other things. She always will tell us, well, darling, just stay optimistic, et cetera, because they saw people lynched. They saw things happen. And so they would never give up their optimism despite the difficulty. And in fact, because of the difficulty, so we have to stay in the game. Whatever's happening, it is serious. These brothers that just talked about it are underscoring how difficult what we're doing is now and how much harder it's getting because of what Donald Trump is doing. And all that is true. And yet, as he said, the wind blows, but the tree's still going to stand. So we got to stay in there, but we got to be aware. Don't walk in the street and get hit by a car. Listen, you're walking in the street and the car's going 5 miles an hour. You're going to get hit if you're not cognizant of it. The car could be going faster, but if you know it's coming, you have a chance to get out of the way. So let's do what it is that we have to do and stay optimistic.
Well, I just want people to understand that what's going on here is real. It's real. And it cannot be overlooked. Last thing here, folks, the Alabama Bar Association has honored longtime civil rights attorney Fred Gray with a statue outside of their bar association. This was 5 days ago. This is what the statue looks like here. Alabama State posted these photos here. This is the unveiling. of the statue. You see Fred Gray there on the far right with his wife as the unveiling of the statue takes place. Of course, Fred Gray, legendary attorney. He, of course, Dr. King's attorney, Rosa Parks, and so many others. This is a man truly fighting for freedom. You remember in Montgomery, they named the street after him. They took the name down of a Confederate person. And the state of Alabama was a little pissed off. They fined the city, but folks still paid that particular fine. So that street's named after him. But this statue. And so next time I go to Montgomery, I'll be sure to get a photo of that. I'm always about documenting, again, our statues. We've been inundated with Confederate statues all across this country. So it's great to be able to see things along those lines. So congratulations to Attorney Fred Gray. That's it for us. Joe, Larry, Mustafa, I appreciate y'all being on today's show. Thank you so very much. Folks, don't forget, stuff that we cover here, you aren't seeing other places. You aren't seeing black-owned media cover these things. And so it's critically important for you to support the work that we do. Of course, we don't do a subscription here. That was by design. I knew a lot of people could not pay a monthly subscription fee of $7, $8, $9, $10. So we purposely kept this show free. But your support is absolutely critical for us to do our work, for us to travel around this country, having town halls, covering news stories, being able to send crews out to things that happen here in the nation's capital. As I'm always saying, we don't have millionaires and billionaires cutting us checks. It's your support that is hugely important to our work. And so if you want to contribute, and what we do, of course, every Friday, we thank our donors. We run every single name of the 35,000 people who've donated to this show since we launched September 4th, 2018. So if you want your name on that list, you want to give via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here. Click the Cash App button to continue to contribute. You can also, of course, use this Stripe QR code for credit cards as well. Checks and money orders, please make them payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, not Roro, not Uncle, not Black Star Network, not Roland Martin, not Unfiltered. Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo's RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Of course, download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available bookstores nationwide. You can also, of course, get our swag, get our t-shirts, mugs, hats, all that good stuff. You see our shirts. MAGA chose between woke or broke. They chose broke. Don't blame me. I voted for the black woman. And of course, FAFO 2025. Hashtag we tried to tell you. Go to rolandmartin.creator-spring.com. You can also use the QR code there as well. We want you to support the app fan base. Download the app if you want to invest. As part of the Series A crowdfund, go to startengine.com/fanbase, startengine.com/fanbase. Folks, that's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. How